It's not my fault. During my consultation with the specialist, I mentioned that I always feel like I'm being criticized. Then the specialist said, "You have no reason to be criticized, blah blah." The first part of the sentence came on so strong that I couldn't remember the rest of what was said. The reason why this was shocking is that I have always consciously or unconsciously felt that there was a reason for me to be criticized. Whenever I describe how neglected I was growing up, I tell my specialist or counselor that I thought my clothes were shrinking, not that my body was growing, until I was 9 years old. Both the specialist and counselor were stunned for a moment, unable to say anything. When I realized that it was my body, not my clothes, that was growing, I had a sixth sense level twist moment. The shock I felt at realizing that people's body growing will be surpassed only by the argument that the earth revolves around the sun when it is proposed as a heliocentric model rather than a geocentric model. I received a kind of shock from the specialist where you have no reason to be criticized. The reason it was shocking was because I always felt consciously and unconsciously that I had a reason to be criticized, that I had a lot to fix. I suffered silently from this feeling of being criticized even when no one said anything. I couldn't bear the feeling of being criticized, so I searched for my own problem and worries, trying to escape from that emotion and finding fault within myself. People couldn't understand me. I thought it wasn't that bad, but that's how it was. And this viewpoint and sense of criticism that I had was projected onto others as well. I consciously and unconsciously transferred that unbearable feeling of being criticized to others. This pattern of being relationship was reflected in my family interactions. I found it too difficult to withstand the criticism of my family, and because I was the weakest in my family and had less strength, all the criticism was concentrated on me, making the internalized criticism even worse. It seems that I didn't really know myself back then. When I was at work or in any situation, I couldn't bear the feeling of it's my fault, I did something wrong, even if nobody said anything. So in those situations, I either said unnecessary thing or just took the blame and tried to get out of the situation. When something went wrong for unclear reasons, I couldn't handle the self-blame and just wanted to escape that feeling by blaming myself. It's only recently that I've come to fully realize those emotions. With so many piles of emotions, I had to focus on resolving them one by one, and I discovered that at the bottom of were feeling of shame and criticism. The specialist seemed even more surprised by my reaction. When I feel criticized in a situation, I find myself at the crossroads with two choices. Either I blame myself and take responsibility for what went wrong, or I fight back against the internalized criticism with a "no, I am not wrong, I am confident." It is likely possible to withstand the emotion of self-blame that arises within me, along with the inner voice saying, "It's your fault, you messed everything up," due to the 3 to 4 years of psychoanalytic counseling and the support of my husband during our 10-year marriage, as well as the season of the mental health specialist over 2 years. I feel like I'm reaching the core of my issues, the root of the problems in my life that I couldn't solve. Today, those emotions came up again, perhaps due to something that didn't go well and felt like it was all my fault. But I fought back with my all might, saying myself, saying to myself, I am not at fault. I am confident. I sided with myself unconditionally and thought for a few minutes. Each time those thoughts came up, the sound eventually quieted down. How many times I've taken a responsibility didn't need to take on because I thought I did, leading to a difficult life and being misunderstood. I feel like I am improving little by little. I am so grateful to everyone and to God.